Cottage home with natural materials ideas that feel beautifully peaceful without being complicated. Welcome to Miko House, where we dive deep into the art of creating homes that truly nurture the soul. Today, I want to invite you into the world of cottage homes that use natural materials in ways that are both peaceful and delightfully uncomplicated. Have you ever wondered how the simplest design choices can create the most profound feelings of tranquility? Let's unravel the secrets behind these inviting spaces and see why going natural doesn't have to mean going overboard.
Archimags makes it minimal, fast, and beautiful. Download and save your favorite design issues today, completely free. Get Archimags on the App Store now.
I'd love to welcome you into the soothing world of cottage homes where natural materials take center stage in creating spaces that feel calm, grounded, and effortlessly beautiful. Have you ever noticed how the simplest elements often have the greatest impact on how a home feels? Today, I want to explore why natural materials continue to define some of the most peaceful cottage interiors, and why achieving this look is often far easier than people imagine. For me, cottage design has always represented more than just a style, it's a feeling. There is something inherently calming about rooms that are anchored in real materials like wood, stone, and linen. I think the tactile nature of these elements grounds us, fostering a sense of authenticity that synthetic or overly processed materials just can't replicate. When I walk into a space where the grain of the wood is visible or the coolness of stone can be felt underfoot, it's as if the home itself is breathing. To me, cottage living is less about following a design trend and more about cultivating a certain atmosphere. Spaces built around materials like timber, stone, and linen carry a sense of honesty that instantly puts people at ease. I've always felt that these authentic textures create a stronger emotional connection than manufactured alternatives ever could. When sunlight catches the grain of natural wood or highlights the texture of a stone wall, the room seems to come alive in the most subtle way. What I love about natural materials in cottage homes is how they seem to invite you to slow down. Unlike most modern interiors that chase after sleekness and shine, these spaces encourage imperfection. In my experience, there's a certain beauty in a hand-thrown ceramic vase or a slightly weathered wooden bench. Each imperfection tells a story, and I find that so much more interesting than something that looks mass-produced. Wouldn't you agree that homes with a bit of character feel more welcoming? One thing I particularly appreciate about natural materials is their ability to encourage a slower pace of life. Unlike many contemporary interiors that prioritize polished perfection, cottage homes embrace individuality and character. In my experience, a weathered wooden stool or a handcrafted ceramic bowl often brings more warmth to a room than expensive designer pieces. There's something comforting about objects that show signs of human touch and history. Don't you think spaces feel more inviting when they reflect real life rather than flawless perfection? Surprisingly, using natural materials doesn't mean you have to commit to a rustic or unfinished look. I've seen some of the most refined and peaceful cottage homes where stone and timber are paired with elegant forms and soft colors. The key, in my opinion, is restraint. Rather than trying to fill every corner with nature, it's about letting a few honest materials shine. This approach keeps the space from becoming visually overwhelming or cliché. What often surprises people is that natural materials can feel elegant and refined rather than overly rustic. I've encountered countless cottage homes that blend timber and stone with soft color palettes and clean silhouettes, creating interiors that are both sophisticated and relaxed. I believe the secret lies in moderation. Instead of overwhelming a space with rustic details, allowing a few carefully selected materials to take focus creates a more balanced and timeless result. One of the most counterintuitive lessons I've learned is that simplicity actually requires more thought, not less. It's tempting to believe that a peaceful cottage look can be achieved by just throwing in some wood and calling it a day. But in reality, the most soothing spaces are the ones where every element feels intentional. I always ask myself, does this piece add calm or clutter? That question has saved me from a lot of unnecessary purchases. One lesson I've learned over the years is that simplicity rarely happens by accident. Many people assume a peaceful cottage aesthetic requires little planning, but the opposite is often true. The most harmonious interiors are carefully considered, with every item serving a purpose. Whenever I'm making design decisions, I ask whether an element contributes to a sense of calm or simply adds visual distraction. That mindset helps maintain clarity and purpose throughout the home. There's a common misconception that natural materials are high maintenance or impractical. In my experience, that's not entirely true. Yes, wood floors might show scratches, but over time, those marks become part of the story. I think the patina and wear add warmth and life, making the home feel lived in rather than staged. Stone, too, has a durability that makes it a smart long-term choice, especially in kitchens or entryways. Another misconception I encounter frequently is that natural materials are difficult to maintain. While it's true that wood develops scratches and stone acquires subtle wear over time, I actually see these changes as part of their appeal. Rather than diminishing their beauty, these signs of use add personality and depth. I think homes become far more welcoming when they feel lived in rather than preserved like a showroom. When I design or recommend spaces like this, I always focus on creating a sense of flow. Natural materials are fantastic for connecting the indoors with the outdoors, blurring the boundaries in a way that feels organic. For instance, carrying the same wood tone from the floors to exposed beams overhead can create a cohesive environment that feels both intentional and effortless. Unlike homes where each room has a drastically different style, cottages with consistent material palettes feel more peaceful to me. Whenever I work with cottage-inspired spaces, I pay close attention to continuity and flow. Natural materials excel at creating visual connections between rooms and even between indoor and outdoor areas. For example, repeating similar wood finishes across floors, furniture, and architectural features can make an entire home feel cohesive. Unlike interiors where every room competes for attention, a consistent material palette creates an atmosphere that feels naturally relaxing. Another important aspect is how these materials age. In my opinion, the charm of a cottage home is enhanced as wood darkens, metals develop a patina, and textiles soften with use. There's a lived-in grace that emerges over time, making the home feel even more inviting. I often contrast this with modern spaces that try to stay pristine and untouched, which can end up feeling cold or unapproachable. Another reason I admire natural materials is the way they mature with age. Wood develops richer tones, metals acquire beautiful patinas, and textiles soften through daily use. In my opinion, this gradual evolution adds authenticity and charm that newer materials often struggle to achieve. While many modern interiors aim to remain untouched and pristine, cottage homes seem to become even more beautiful as the years pass. There are times, though, when I see people overcomplicate cottage style by layering too many natural elements until the space feels cluttered. The beauty, I think, lies in editing. A single reclaimed wood table can be more impactful than a room filled with rustic odds and ends. It's about giving your eyes and your mind room to rest. At the same time, I've noticed that people sometimes overcomplicate cottage design by introducing too many rustic elements at once. The true beauty often comes from knowing when to stop. A single reclaimed timber dining table can create far more impact than a room crowded with decorative accessories. Thoughtful editing allows the natural beauty of each piece to shine while preserving a sense of calm throughout the space. For those worried about cost, I've found that you don't need to splurge on every finish. Sometimes, even a small touch like a stone windowsill or a woven jute rug can introduce that sense of peace. In my experience, it's the thoughtful placement of these materials, not their abundance, that makes a difference. Would you rather have a handful of meaningful objects or a collection of things that don't resonate? For anyone concerned about budget, I always emphasize that meaningful design doesn't require transforming an entire home. Even modest additions, a woven jute rug, a wooden shelf, or a simple stone accent can introduce warmth and authenticity. In my experience, success comes from placing these elements intentionally rather than accumulating them in large quantities. Wouldn't you rather surround yourself with a few pieces you genuinely love than countless items that lack personal significance? I also believe that embracing natural materials is about more than aesthetics, it's about lifestyle. When you choose materials that age gracefully and require minimal upkeep, you're giving yourself permission to enjoy your home without fuss. That to me is the essence of uncomplicated living. It's a subtle rebellion against the constant pressure to upgrade or renovate. I also see natural materials as a reflection of a more relaxed and sustainable way of living. Choosing finishes that age gracefully and remain beautiful over time removes much of the pressure to constantly update or replace things. To me, that freedom is one of the greatest luxuries. It allows homeowners to focus on enjoying their spaces rather than endlessly chasing the next trend. It's interesting to see how cottage homes with natural materials often feel timeless, even as trends come and go. In my opinion, that's because these materials have been part of our built environment for centuries. There's a comfort in knowing that your space won't look dated in a few years. Instead, it will have deepened in character, which is something I truly value. What fascinates me most is how cottage homes built around natural materials never seem to lose their relevance. While design styles come and go, wood, stone, linen, and other organic elements have remained desirable for generations. I think this lasting appeal stems from their deep connection to human comfort and tradition. Rather than becoming outdated, they continue to gain character and meaning with time. Ultimately, the success of a peaceful cottage home comes down to intention. Every choice, whether it's a rough-hewn beam or a softly woven throw, should support the overall sense of calm. I always remind myself that design isn't about impressing others, it's about creating a space where you feel completely at ease. After all, isn't that what home should be? Creating a peaceful cottage home is about making thoughtful choices that support comfort, balance, and authenticity. Whether it's an exposed wooden beam, a handcrafted ceramic piece, or a soft linen throw, every detail should contribute to the overall feeling of ease. I always remind myself that great design isn't about impressing visitors, it's about creating a home where you can truly relax, recharge, and feel at peace. After all, isn't that the purpose of home in the first place?